Hi, I'm Mike Cohn, and welcome to our continuing podcast series here at TAPinto Westfield. Today, we're pleased to have as our guest the head of the Westfield Recreation Department, Bruce Kaufmann. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike. I'm glad that I have an opportunity to talk with you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're glad we're here. So a lot is going on in the Westfield Department of Recreation, especially with the parks this summer. Do you have any thing you'd like to begin with?
Well, certainly most people know about our municipal pool. We cut off registration at 9,700 people. We do that so that our pool patrons know that there has not had to be a time that we've had to close the pool down because of overcrowding, and that our members are always have the ability to bring in guests, as many as they want, from wherever they want to bring them in from.
So this was the first year that there wasn't a waiting list, is that correct? But you got to the number you wanted to get to?
That's correct. We were able to take everybody off the waiting list, and we were able to open it up. It is a Green Acres facility, which means that once we exhaust all of the opportunities from our residents, that we do have the ability to open it up to anybody else that lives in the state of New Jersey. This has not happened in the past 16 years. So there have always been people from Fanwood and Scotch Plains that have always asked to see if they could be put on the waiting list. And we have done that, and this is the first year, as I mentioned, in 16 years that we've been able to open it up to allow some of our neighbors in our neighboring towns to be able to become members of our pool.
How many approximately non-Westfield residents are members, steady members of the pool this year?
We probably have about 7 to 8% of our membership are non-residents. Understand that once you become a member of our pool, you have the ability to re-register every year. Now, we've had several families that were originally members when they lived in Westfield, and for one reason or another have moved to Scotch Plains, have moved to Fanwood, or have to move to other communities, but they still have the ability to retain their membership.
Well, I've seen a lot of pools in the area, and the Westfield Memorial Pool is very well kept up, and the water is always very clear and clean, and as a person who swims there every day, I'm very pleased with the pool myself.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We do have quite a few standards that we must maintain. The water quality and the chemicals and anything else that may be lurking in the waters always has to be tested by a state-certified facility. We have that tested once a week, and we do take water quality testings at our pool every 2 hours.
Well, yes, it's very. Despite it being very busy, the water and the pool is very well maintained. That seems to be a very big job.
It is. We have a full-time pool tech, and when I say full-time, that is a 12-month-a-year job, and that is the responsibility. One of his responsibilities is to making sure that all the filtration systems working properly. All the sanitizing systems are working properly. We do require our guards to take on other responsibilities aside from just being guards and watching for the safety in the water, but also in first aid, also maintaining the cleanliness of the facility.
Of all the parks that you have in Westfield and the Memorial Park where the pool is located, is that like your flagship park, the one where you give the most amount of time to and funding towards?
There are probably 3 that I would think of right off the top. First, obviously Memorial Park, because of the pool, and it does have the 3 other softball fields there and our 6 tennis courts. But probably the largest park that we have in Westfield would be Tamakwa. Tamarcus Park has 6 ball fields. It's used for soccer, it's used for rugby. We have 8 tennis courts there. We have a storage building with bathrooms. There's a picnic grove, and there a pond. We run our summer playground program for our teens out of the cabin at Tamakwa. And then there's extensive paths through the woods. The other park, obviously, would be right here where our municipal building is. That's the Mindawaskan Park, which has our pond. Hopefully we will be able to have skating this coming winter. There's been quite a lot of renovations done to it. We're getting ready to celebrate the 200th anniversary. So there will be some additional upgrades that will be happening at our park here right by the municipal building.
Well, before I definitely want to talk about Tamakwa's Park and the status of it and the possible renovations that I believe are coming down the road. But before, I just want to finish with the pool. As we know, last year, the general public is aware there was an incident in the pool last year, involving a girl. I just want to know if there's anything from the recreation department that you've taken in as a result of that learning experience, or use that to go forward.
Well, first of all, we're all very thankful that the result of the incident is that the girl is back in school, and all indications are that the incident has had no permanent effect. We do consistently train our guards to make sure that they are aware of situations. We're very thankful for the other people that have come forth to help us, especially during that rescue. And hopefully one of the things that those that were at the pool or have heard about the incident would understand is that parents need to take a little more responsibility for overseeing and watching their children, not only in the facility, in the open area, but especially when they're in the water. They have the ability to watch one particular person, their own child or their children, 2, 3, however many they have. When the lifeguard's responsibility is to try to observe what is happening over a larger area of water, taking into considering a lot more individuals. And then again, we do have consistent training, not only with the scanning process, but with AED certifications, with mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and emergency procedures.
So what is the role? Let's just talk about the parents, for example, and age. After a certain age, when a child is maybe 12 or 13 or 10 years old, I would say probably the kid swims a little more independently. The parents don't have to watch them as closely. But at what age should the parents absolutely continue to watch their child in the pool? Like, basically, what is the parent's role in relation to the lifeguard's role?
A good point, Mike. An age, I wouldn't say that age is the factor. I would say it's more a case of the parents understanding their child's ability in the water. We don't allow any children with diapers in our main pool because of, obviously, the possibilities of some accidents happening. And again, it would be the parents' understanding of what their children or their child's ability is in the water and how they are able to handle situations. Our lifeguards are there to assist when there happens to be an emergency or a potential emergency. We do try to eliminate the emergencies by when the lifeguard happens to see a child that may be struggling or all of a sudden may be acting slightly different in the water than they were a few minutes ago, that they would put the emergency procedures into action.
Okay, so it's really the parent's role to know the child's level of swimming ability and to make sure that they are safe in the water, and then the lifeguard is a support system along with that.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. And I think that's, if you take a look at the way our swim lessons are structured, there are many times that the parents aren't 100% sure of what the capability of their children are, so we make sure that they would go into a level that was a lot more instructional. And then as the swim lessons go along, if they were to be moved up, we certainly have the ability to do that.
Okay, let's go back to Tamakwa Park now. Tamakwa Park is a huge, really beautiful park, but from driving around there and spending time with my children there, it does appear that there need to be some renovations to Tamakwa Park.
Very true. There have not been major renovations to the park in many, many, many years. We have taken care of the tennis courts. They've been, since I've been here for the 16 years, they've been redone twice. They've actually been, the size of the courts have been expanded to meet the standards today, which are different standards than when they were originally constructed. The mini master plan that we are developing now will include additional parking, will include the hopefully the possibility of an additional synthetic turf field that will be usable for many sports, to increase the size of the building, the permanent building that is by the tennis courts, to accommodate an all-purpose room. It'll be a 2-story facility, an all-purpose room upstairs, much more storage for our in-house sports organizations that use the park, upgrade in the bathrooms. So those are some of the things that we're looking at in our mini master plan for the park, and we are hopeful that ground can be broken on some part of the master plan during 2018.
And what about the basketball courts? That area, the basketball courts look like they need to be fixed up as well.
The basketball courts would actually get moved to a different location, and the area that the basketball courts now would be changed into more parking for the facility.
This is just wishful thinking, since I actually live close to Tamakwa Park. Is there any chance for like a pool there?
No. That's not something that's being considered for the master plan.
Has anyone brought that up other than me? Because it seems like there's an area for a pool there.
No, Mike, you're the only one that said that. So, like we tell everybody that brings forth some thoughts and ideas, we'll take it under consideration.
The other one, when you said you were going to build a building, is there any chance for like an indoor gym or tennis courts, indoor tennis courts, or that's another one that's alongside the pool suggestion?
To have a building that size would impact the other athletic areas that we have. That the building could not be as big to have indoor tennis courts. When I say an all-purpose room, it probably, the size of it would not be big enough than you would want to have for a facility that has a concrete floor.
The reason I know, we're joking about the pool, but the reason I ask, because I see there's a camp there, and I know there's a lot of, you do day camps for the summer, and it just seems like Tamakwa is a really nice place, like a nice campground, and you could really do a lot with that park.
One of the things that we do need to take into consideration, and we need to balance between structured sports activities and the ability for people to just go to a park where it could be somewhat passive. We don't want to, constantly take down the trees. We don't want to make the roadway a 4-lane road. So, it's a balance. And Tamakwa Park, to be considered as a park rather than Tamakwa Sports Complex.
Oh, I see. That's interesting. So you want it to be usable for everybody for different purposes, not just a sports complex, not just a camp. You want it to be a multi-purpose park.
Oh, absolutely. If you go there during the day, we've got hundreds of people that walk. We've got small groups that come and exercise. We've got people that ride their bicycles around there. We've got people that participate in the picnics in the picnic grove. We have others that just walk through the paths that are in the wooded area. We've got little children that go and fish in the pond. There's a multitude of activities that go on, and we want to make sure that we still allow all those different recreational facilities, activities to be able to continue there.
And let's move on to some other parks. Anything else going on in the other parks that are of note? Any renovations or anything special?
No, probably not. Brightwood Park is one of our passive parks. It does have a pond up there. We try to keep that as naturally as possible. Clark Park, again, we try not to have any organized sports activities, just a place that people in the neighborhood could go and have a catch with their child or kick the ball around. We do have Houlihan and Sidfay Field, which are two of our synthetic turf fields which are lit. We just had the turf replaced 2 years ago, so we're good for probably another 12, 15 years. Sycamore, highly used area, mostly for soccer. Does need some consideration because it is just beat constantly. There's just grass is grown by the inch and destroyed by the foot, if you can get that. Windsor Park is a small neighborhood park that we try to keep up. We have basketball courts there. They've got a small playground. Just a place that the residents in that area can go to if they want to have a picnic.
And Westfield is a very big soccer and lacrosse, and becoming a bigger lacrosse town. Are there any parks that can support that more, like the grass is kept up better, or is there any way you're working along with the development of those two sports?
Yes, that's why we're taking a look at. We certainly want to have a synthetic turf field put at Tamarcus Park and lined for multiple sports, and hopefully that once that happens, rather than increasing the number of programs that these sports organizations have and increasing the age from lower ages to older ages, that the sports organizations maintain what they have now, and then we'll be able to take out of play Sycamore during a season to regenerate the grass, take an area out of Memorial Park to regenerate. An area out of Gumpert. One of the parks, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, is Gumpert. The town and the baseball organization have been putting quite a lot of money into that to help maintain the facility, upgrade it, and it's looking a lot better than it has in previous years.
How about lights? Will you be able to have lights at the Tamakwa Field?
Yes, we would like the synthetic turf field. We have lights there now for our 8 tennis courts, and the topography of where the synthetic turf field would be. We feel that the lights to light that area there would not impact anybody in the New England Dixon Drive area whatsoever.
And okay, this is going to be the spring of 2018 coming up. When would you project? Is there a projection when that synthetic turf field would be ready?
No, we're working not only with the Recreation Commission for finalizing plans, working with our architect John Bell from Amy Green, environmental consultants, but also working with the town council and working with the finance committee, and again working with the capital plan for 2018. We will be meeting periodically over the next couple of months to see how everything's going to shake out. And again, it comes down to money, pretty much.
Well, that would be really exciting to have the turf field with lights. And one other thing I've noticed is there's new bleachers popping up all over Westfield in the parks. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, we were able to get a grant from the Union County Trust Fund to help partially pay for replacing all of our bleachers. There are, the American with Disabilities Act requires certain restrictions for bleacher certifications. Our bleachers were no longer in compliance, and we were able to utilize that information along with the field user fees and money from the Union County Trust Fund to be able to replace all of the bleachers in town at once.
Well, the bleachers, not only do they look more comfortable, but they look safer. Looks like there's some railings and certain protective screens for the people who are watching games.
Yes, that is correct. And the CPSI playground inspection certifications, the Americans with Disabilities Act, several federal organizations have come together to make standards for bleachers, and it was just in everybody's best interest to make sure that we were in compliance.
Okay, we're wrapping up the interview. We haven't, I know it's the end of the interview, but we haven't talked much about yourself. You're a native of Livingston?
Well, correct. I was born in the Brooklyn Hospital, lived in Forest Hills till I was 6, moved to Livingston, went through the Livingston school system, and started my professional career in Livingston. I was there for 19 years. I moved from Livingston professionally to Summit. I was there for 9 years, and for the past 16 years I've been here in Westfield.
And when you first, you went to college in West Virginia, correct?
Yes, Davis and Elkins College, very small Presbyterian college in the heart of coal country, and learned quite a bit about dealing with very unique situations being in that part of West Virginia.
Did you play in Livingston High School? Did you play sports?
Yes, I did. I ran track and cross country, ice hockey, played baseball in middle school, and soccer in middle school. That was all the time I had to do.
And you knew you wanted to work, and you went to school to be a teacher?
Yes, I graduated with a degree to be able to teach health and physical education K through 12. However, as time went on and I was unable to secure a teaching position, there was the recreation position that opened up in Livingston when I was there, and that's how my career changed from being a health and physical education teacher to being a recreation director.
And you've been doing this for a long time now. How many years total have you been in the recreation business?
45.
And so in Westfield, you've been here how many years? You said
I've been here 16 years.
16 years?
Yes.
And when you were at Summit, were you the head of the recreation department there as well?
I came in as assistant director in preparation of the director planning his retirement, and then when he retired, I was elevated to director in Summit, yes.
And what made you want to move to Westfield and run the recreation department here?
I think that there was a little better opportunity for me here. The programs are a little more extensive. My background in park maintenance, ball field maintenance, and dealing with aquatics. Had more of an opportunity here in Westfield. And oddly enough, in 1974, I was interviewed here by Ruth Hill to see if I wanted to be the playground supervisor during the day, be the pool manager in the afternoon during the summer, and at the end of the summer there was the hope that there would be a full-time position that I would be able to step into. Obviously that didn't happen back then, but it's very interesting that I would end my career in one of the places that I was offered a job, at the beginning of my career.
And in your tenure here, what are you most proud of that you've done? What do you think your biggest accomplishments have been and the biggest impact you've made here in Westfield?
Probably two things. Number one, being able to maintain the integrity of our pool, and the advancement of the synthetic turf field that we have with lights at Houlihan and Sid Fay. And one of the other things that I was able to do is responsible for scheduling all the fields in town, aside from Kaler Stadium. That's up to the Board of Education. But previously, if you wanted to utilize a Board of Education field, you'd have to go to the Board of Ed. If you wanted to use a field from the town, you come to the Recreation Department. I think most people would agree that if you want to use a field, you really don't care who owns it.
Right.
There should be just one central location, and the Board of Education in the town has agreed that that was a wise thing to do. And one of the other things that we've been able to do over the past several years is provide senior transportation that had originally been done by the American Red Cross. They gave it up several years ago. We were asked if this could happen in the Recreation Department, and I had dealt with this when I was in Livingston. So the answer was, sure, we can handle that. And we also operate the senior handyman program for the summertime out of our office too. So those are some of the accomplishments that have happened over the last 16 years that I hope our citizens, residents in Westfield have felt have helped them and is an advantage to them.
And lastly, what do you look forward to in the future? I know Tamakwa Park is one thing. I know you want to keep the pool running as well as it's been, but is there anything else or you want to comment on that?
Well, as you know, my last day on the job will be October the 1st. And having said that, we have a fantastic staff here. Obviously, our pool tech, Paul Checchio, does an excellent job. Tracy Kastner, our programmer, has incredible programs and is constantly looking to increase programs and keep a pulse on the town. We have a new aquatics supervisor, Heather Ray, who comes with aquatics background, who will be able to maintain and continue to take the pool to be a shining spot in the town. And the new director will come in with some ideas and thoughts of his own and with tremendous energy. It's just positive after positive after positive.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and we hope you enjoyed being on the show today.
Thank you. I appreciate the ability.
Okay.